Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Achaibo Clinical Free One-on-One webinar. I am Bea, assistant to Tengu, and I'll be managing this webinar and running the back-end technical side. We're so excited you can join us today. Before we get to our incredible speaker, I want to share a few housekeeping notes. You'll notice everyone's mic are muted and cameras are turned off. This is intentional to keep the focus on our speakers so that we don't hear any background noises as others join in. Use the chat box as a back channel for questions and comments and to participate in activities. You can also raise your hand by pressing the hand button and we'll have you unmuted during the Q&A session. Please reach out to a Achaibo team or write in the chat box if you're experiencing ongoing technical issues. All the questions will be addressed at the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will upload to your YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Tengu muna, the founder and the CEO of Achaibo Clinical and the creator of our online course, The Ultimate Clinical Research Toolbox. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Tengu.
Sorry, you guys. See, that's why I need you, B. What a great intro, B. That's what I just said. Let me back my steps up. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you guys are here. So that's B, our operational lead. And then we have Vera, who's our social media strategist on here, and Julian, who is our customer support extravaganza. I am so glad you guys are here. How many of you are on the Facebook group? Just raise your hand. I'm not going to call anybody out. Just raise your hand if you're on our WhatsApp group, on the WhatsApp group. Yay. See, yeah, good stuff. And if you're not on there, join. It all starts in the WhatsApp group, you guys. It's growing. We've been open for a week and I think we're 117 strong. So, hey, you guys, I'm so excited that you guys are here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. With all the time zones here. If you haven't met me, I'm Tengu, and I am the wind under the wings of Achaibo Clinical, and really delighted. And B, you can move on to the next slide. And this webinar really is created for you just to give you some great information about the clinical trials industry. And I always have something where we learn, but the way that I always work is I always come from a place of high energy, as you can see, and really to make sure that you listen to this presentation and then really feel like you're learning something, but also feel uplifted, because at the end of the day, who wants to go listen to something and participate in a forum where people are just like, blah, 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 blah. I know I don't want that. So we've talked about who I am, why you guys are here, and how excited I am. I introduced the team. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, poquito, very slightly. Then I'm going to talk about clinical trials, why I love it, why I'm very passionate about it, and how it has really transformed my life. And really the purpose of Achaibo Clinical is to get more of you involved so that we can expand the number of clinical trial patients of African descent who are going to be in this industry. And of course, for you as well, I know how it can benefit you. I think it's the most abundant industry personally in my own life, being able to come in as someone of African descent, rise all the way to the global level, and working with all kinds of people. Right now, I'm on a strategist on it's like 142 country study. It's a beast, but it's so satisfying. And yet I can maybe count a handful of Africans. Maybe there was me and I have one counterpart, and that's really it. So it's just really exposing more of us to this industry. Okay, I see there are more people joining. Before going, hi, Maxine. Nice you're here. Hi, Adeshina, Chess, Efyong, Gertrude, Joshua, Camney, Calvin, Nathan, Ozzy, Sheila, Cynthia, Twa Hafifwa. That's a beautiful name. Wait, are you on the WhatsApp group? Let us know. Make sure you join it. B is going to put the link on here, and so will Vera. because like I said, I want to really get closer to you guys and so that I can support you. So B, let's move on to the next slide. Good, so that's me. My hair is not braided, but I have been in this industry for 19 years and gosh, I love it so much. I love it so much. I've been really successful at what I'm doing. And for me, true success means that I'm allowing the energy of the universe to come through me and to be of service. And for me, it's been the clinical trials industry. And I'm so happy about it. Vera, make sure to keep posting on the WhatsApp group that we're in, so more and more people can join and really benefit from this. So that's me. I have been mostly working globally right now, and I really focus on emerging markets. And the reason why I really created Achaibo Clinical, like I said, you guys, was I remember I was at a conference. I've forgotten what country it was in, and I looked around and I said, oh, I guess I'm the only African in this on this panel right now. And so I thought to myself, absolutely not. I am not someone who had the confidence to come out and create, a new company and do what I'm doing right now. But what I was so driven and so passionate about bringing my own people, more of them into this industry, particularly in Africa and of course in the diaspora. So that's really what really pushed me. So B, let's go to the next slide, because we got to get to the Q&A and some good coaching today. I've worked for all kinds of companies, you guys. I mean, small, large, various therapeutic areas. For someone, just take a note of this. I have a political science background, and I'm currently on an extremely complex HER2 positive tumor study, and I've worked on so many of them. So the way that this industry works is that we have the clinical side of things, and you most certainly need a clinical background, but I'm in operations. So we are the ones who literally, run things and then support the whole structure globally, and it's so satisfying. And so it just requires a certain way of thinking and of course dedication to whatever we're doing. I love coaching. I love mentoring. That's what I excel at. And every project that I'm on, that's typically what I'm doing. I've worked on a lot of audits and inspections. And the reason why I'm here is because I looked at all the trends across the globe, and then I created the company and the programs that we have, looking at what is the best way for us to participate, and how can we set up clinical research sites that do not have to deal with all these quality issues? How can I coach more investigators? How can I coach more nurses and lab techs and all the different African HCPs to come into this industry and have the right knowledge? So that's really what was more important for me. So B, let's go on to the next slide. What is our mission? So we want to expand the number of clinical trial patients of African descent participating in clinical trials, but we do that by training more investigators, number one, right? And then number two, coaching and training more African healthcare professionals of any profession, so that they can either have a career in this industry or those in the industry, so that they can actually move up. On Friday, one of my past coaching students just made my day. He called me. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and he said, "Tengu, hey, he's gonna put his testimonial on Moses." And he's like, you know what? I just wanted to thank you because my life is so changed. I coached him. He was in the industry and he was kind of stuck. And the people who really helped me are the ones that knew that I was stuck. And they're people where I was in a place where I wanted to go to the global level so badly with my own company as a consultant, and I didn't know what to do. And those people made a difference in my life. So I make sure that I'm always giving. And even the people who go through our programs, that you get more than you can ever imagine, because that's really important. So B, let's go to the next slide. Oh, are you guys following, by the way, before I move on here? I'm like blab, talking. I get energized and excited. And I don't want to forget about you. Ozzy, are you following? I like your name, so I'm just going to call you out. Okay. Wave or send hearts or something if you're, yay. I see you guys are following. So let's define what clinical trials are. And you can Google this stuff. What I want us to really focus on, because I want to help you to, thank you for more hearts, to understand where the industry is going, right? So look at more hearts. My goodness, I love it. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate you for doing that. I appreciate the support. So we're preventing, detecting, treating, or managing various diseases and medical conditions. But here's the thing, you guys. The industry, I would say, is like maybe 70, 80% treating or managing, because that's just where we are. The hearts keep floating. Love it. Thank you. So, but we really are getting into the era of prevention and detection, you guys, because, AI, big data storage. I mean, just the innovation that is happening in the world. The tech innovation is also in the clinical trials industry, right? So that's really what we're looking at. And the industry is going global in a very big way, which we will actually get into. And that's where we come in. So next slide, please. Okay, so let me talk about the global trends. Thank you, B. If you look at the map of clinical trials across the globe, right, and this is on clinicaltrials.gov, I think this data is September data, the latest data. That's, the areas in red, that's where majority of the clinical trials are being conducted. But let me tell you something. Just because it's red doesn't mean that it's like every single hospital, it's still like maybe 10% of the clinics and hospitals conducting clinical trials, for real. I mean, this is an industry where it's extremely difficult to meet the demand. We always have more clinical trials than sites that are available to conduct them and research personnel. If you go online and you type clinical research jobs, you'll be inundated because it's just an industry that expands so much. And so as you can see, I say in Africa, and in the diaspora, because to me, this is the physical Africa. And then there is the non-tangible Africa that we have on our hearts, those of us who are outside of the continent, that is just there, and we just can't help ourselves, but just be so tied to back to the continent. But so even on that side, we still conduct the least number of clinical trials. That's just how things are. And that's why it's so important that we participate. B, thank you. She's anticipating me right now. In the US, 52% of the clinical trials are conducted here. And guys, this number has dropped drastically. We'll get into that. Non-US studies are 32%, both non-US and US and non-US are 5%, and then not provided. Not provided just means that the data is not available. The clinicaltrials.gov is the largest repository for registered clinical trials in the world. And I know someone in the WhatsApp group, God, I forgot his name, was asking about trends. There are different registries for clinical trials around the world. Japan has one, Health Canada has one, the big ones. EMA has one. So, but the US has the largest database. And so it's really, I would say, if you're wanting to extract any kind of data, you want to use ct.gov. To get that data. But because of the way this industry is, you guys, it's such a baby. I mean, there is so much potential right now with it just going globally in a big way that there's so much opportunity that we're beginning to have companies pop up that are getting all the data, but it's hard, right? Because if you think about it, we're looking at drugs, biologics, biologics devices, and there are other things. I've worked on some products that I don't know how to classify, but so we're looking at that. But in addition to that, within that, think about how many different indications there are. And then within those indications, I mean, let me just talk about ophthalmology, because that's, my mom recently got cataract surgery, and you have specialists for the posterior chamber of the eye, specialists for the anterior chamber. Then you have people who only look at glaucoma, people who look at cataracts. So think about sort of so much data, and sometimes it's hard to condense it. I say this because there's just so much opportunity. And like I said, it's a baby industry. We're going towards 425,969 trials conducted, registered, right? And out of those, 14,900 are conducted in Africa. And Africa, I mean, we're not even including Africans in the diaspora, right? So that's on the African continent. So there's such room for growth for us. Go on to the next slide, please. So look at the trend. We started with about 2,000 trials, right? 1,251, that's like in the year 2000. Look at what has happened. Bam, all the way up here on our curve here. And more are being conducted globally, right? So this number is like, we have half of it is being conducted globally. And that's where we come in, where we really have to participate. And it's only going to keep going up. I mean, everybody now is sitting in their garage, figuring out, as much as in the tech game, what new healthcare technology can I bring to the market? And of course, that has to go through the clinical trial space and through the regulatory authorities, depending on the kind of device that you're wanting to study or the type of drug. Okay, so B, let's go on to the next slide. So I love this industry because it's unique. And the reason why it is unique is because B, let's go on to the next one, is that I like that it's decentralized. And for me, if you just joined us, welcome. Are you guys following? Are you enjoying the talk? Are you engaging? Do you feel like you're learning something, or that yeah, good. Yay. I love claps and hearts, always a good thing. So, and if you just joined us, welcome. I said hi to quite a few people earlier, but I'm glad you're here. There's going to be a recording. So yes, for those who attend, there's a recording and there's a certificate. We just started the certificate because I know that's really important. So it's decentralized. What that means is that there is no discrimination here. The current project, I'm on 142 countries. It's the same clinical trial protocol, and it's being conducted across 142 countries, except Africa, you guys. That's why I get very incensed when we're doing country selection. And just from this project, there's a lot more nuances involved. I don't think it's so much that Africa is being eliminated. It has to go through a commercialization process in terms of the reimbursement to patients in that country. There has to be some kind of a landscape. And while that is actually, it can be challenging, but here's the good news. Countries where there is no official structure for reimbursing drug and devices, and and there's like no public health initiative for that, is actually where clinical trials thrive even more, because patients are using private pay. And so because when you're in a clinical trial setting, you have access to products that are cutting edge, and you also get the best medical care. So more and more patients in those countries are participating in clinical trials. So that's decentralization. Globalized, I keep throwing the word around. Yes, it is globalized. It's a global structure, one protocol across many, many countries, or one portfolio. So you could have one product being tested in so many different ways. The good part is that when it is global, because I know some of you go, I don't want to have a product tested on me. Guys, I've participated in many clinical trials. Most of these trials are phase 3 trials, okay? And so they're not FIH, like a first in human trial. My hope is that we can get to the point on our continent where we can have those trials, because they're great. And, our patients can benefit from that. But majority of these are all phase 3. All the safety piece is mostly a done deal. And of course, sometimes we have phase 4 trials where it's already been approved. And then this product is being looked at for several indications. Like I would go with, let me be a little bit crass here with Viagra. It wasn't being studied for what it's currently being sold for. I always laugh when I see that, because that was actually an adverse event while it was being studied. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I think it does other things. And that was, that came to the market. So that's what phase 4 does. And it's also a way to market it. It's an adaptable sector. We saw with the COVID pandemic, and all so the industry is so neat that it adapts to what's going on nationally and what's going on globally. So products come to the market based on the location. So for example, someone was saying, we don't want to have things tested on us that have to do with a bunch of white people. Yes, that's not how it works. If you see in Africa and like in South America and many other places that are more closer to the equator, the majority of the trials are usually infectious diseases and those types of things. But here's the thing. Diabetes is now proliferating across the globe. And I have my own thoughts on that. All I just say is, if you eat the food that you were eating from the day that you were born, and stop eating stuff that people are shipping to you, you won't have a problem. But that's another story, because I eat my old school potato and cassava here in the US, but hey, I won't get into that. But my point is this. Diabetes is a big thing right now. It's going all over the world. And so we really need to have more of our patients participating in, and diabetes trials are incredible. I've run so many of them. There is just the benefits to patients is amazing. There are patients who even find out that they're pre-diabetic or they're hypoglycemic without even knowing it. And it's just, I've seen what it has done to people's lives, even in oncology. Same thing. So adaptable, right, to what's going on globally, what's going on locally. Transferable skills, my favorite. I do not currently have any facilities, any interactions with the US on the project that I'm on, because when we started, we selected the United States, but it got commercialized, it got approved by the regulatory authorities. And so now I sit here and I literally work all over the world via Zoom, with COVID. So but I am not, that's how awesome it is. Your skills are transferable, firstly, if you do not move. The second thing is, once you have the clinical trial skills, you can go live anywhere in the world. So long as you speak the language, you can work. So I really, especially if maybe you're living, you want to leave your country and you're like, well, what kind of skill set do I need? You don't have to go and get menial jobs. And I'm not, demeaning menial jobs, I've done them. What you want to do is you want to have a skill set that once you arrive, you can say, you know what, I know about clinical trials. You can go to a hospital and get a job. You can apply to a pharma company and get a job. So those are things that you want to think about, because we're living in a world where we're constantly moving, and we want to be in an industry where the opportunities are all around the world, and they are hot opportunities. And by that, I mean, there is never going to be a case where we run out of clinical trials personnel and sites that are conducting these trials. It's just impossible. We have to, the gap is so big between the need and the demand, right? I mean, we need, the demand and the supply. What is being supplied is like 10%, and there's like a 200% need. Super important. And not just transferable, the longer you stay in the industry, the opportunities. On my project, I have maybe 3 people already who have, we were all brought in, and they're all like just moving on. I mean, because it's just so much opportunity that, the average person in this industry stays about, I think it's 2 years now, 1.5. I mean, I'm a consultant, but that's why I decided to be a consultant a long time ago, because if you're going to move around every 2 years, you might as well have your own company and, and help people out. No limitation on professional background. I said it before. I was on a speaking engagement recently with C Help Summit. You guys can check them out. And they said, I'm Dr. Tengo. I said, no, I'm not. Well, I'm a doctor of clinical operations for sure. But I have a poli-sci background, and I am able to manage, like I said, complex. The project I'm on right now, you guys, is a beast. It's a beast. And, when Friday comes along, we're like, we made it. And it's a very visible project. The project is a pivotal study. What that means is that as a result of it going all the way to the end, it's going to now be the framework to submit for other types of project within the same portfolio. So it's a very important project. And so extremely complex. But guess what? 19 years in the industry, and I'm doing it. And that's why I'm passionate about giving you guys this knowledge, because I'm right where I see everything and I'm absorbing everything. And so what I say is the truth, like what I say is what is actually happening. Okay, you guys. So I'm excited. Are you guys still following? I see more people have joined. Delighted that you're here. Again, you're going to get this recording for attending. So we're happy. Yay. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I see you guys are enjoying it. So let's go on to the next slide. The players in this industry. Yes, people, we have some players in this game. Make no mistake about it. This is how I coach all the time. I crack myself up because, life is meant to be a constant flow of pleasant moments. Doesn't mean that we don't go through challenges, right, you guys? It's right now, I have challenges, but you know what? I choose to be pleasant. I choose to smile no matter what happens. So side level, that's the clinical research side. And that's a whole industry on its own. I mean, from hospitals to clinics to, private practice to entrepreneurs who are running the clinical trials. So that's like, our industry has I would say 20 or 30 different sectors just within it. And then you have the vendor level, the people who supply the products, the lab kits, any and everything, depending on what the clinical trial is. We have vendors that help us operationally. Like the project I'm on, we've employed several companies who are taking on different tasks for us because we don't have the capacity to actually do that. Most pharmaceutical companies, we don't have that. You got to bring vendors in to help. The sponsor could be the pharma, it could be government, military, whoever is financially responsible. And then, of course, within the industry, you have even the legal side of things, right? So if you go look at the industry, everybody's there. They're attorneys. There's just everybody. So the opportunities are incredible. What I want you guys to focus on is clinical operations where I am, because in clinical operations, you are guaranteed, once you understand how clinical trials run, whether you are a scientist or an attorney, it's different. So say I am I am in medical affairs. I'm a physician who's been brought in as a physician scientist, and I'm looking at certain safety events. If I don't know what happens at the clinical research side, I sort of have an idea. But when you don't have the operations knowledge, it's a little bit challenging. When you understand how the operations through which these adverse events can be managed at the level of the clinical research site, so then you're fine, okay? And I will talk about that later. This is important. You need to have that knowledge about what is a clinical research site, what terms are being used in this industry, and all of that. You need that basic knowledge. And then from there, now you can actually build. So B, let's go to the next slide. Now, this is my favorite slide. B, go back so they can read the title. This actually, I have to give kudos to my staff here because, this came from Vera, and she's like, you know what? Why don't we talk more about the benefits of clinical research? I talk about it, and then she and B, they all worked on it. And hence, here is the presentation, which they came up with, and which is, I think, is so awesome, and which is everything that I know and put together. So let's go to the next slide, B. So how do we benefit? How do physicians, and when I say physicians, you guys, if you're not a physician on here, I promise you the same methodology of actually thinking, right? If you are looking for a career in the industry, this will benefit you in the exact same way, okay? So physicians is the capture for healthcare professionals. You gain firsthand experience about new therapies and drugs. And yes, guys, I work with all kinds. I mean, we have panels. We recently just had an event in, I think that was in Paris. And then the next one, I think, is in Singapore. But literally, we have physicians that we bring up who have been with us for a long time, and they have so much firsthand knowledge. And let me tell you why they are on there, because they've recruited a lot of patients. If you want to have clout in this industry, come in, set up your clinical research sites. If that's something that you want to do, or if you want to have a career, come in and, go into medical affairs if you're a physician, right? Or you can come into, you can become a clinical research associate if you're a nurse, you can work at a clinical research site, but all of that. But it's the experience in this industry, you guys. It's such an experience-based industry. I know every industry is experience-based. Now, I wouldn't want, my mother's ophthalmologist just did her ODM right eye. And I said to myself, Dr. Warlock, this is not her first surgery. She's been around for a long time. And I can imagine going up to a surgeon who has, this is my first operation. I'll be like, why don't I check back with you in like a year when you've done a lot more, right? So that first-hand experience is a really, really good thing because you build on it. And then, of course, it makes a difference in patients' lives. We run patient-centric trials, which is so important. I mean, we had a situation, a very challenging situation last week where a patient was waiting for their test that they're done, and they were, because that test is a criteria to get into the trial, and they're waiting and waiting. There's so many issues, and we realized that the TAT, which is the turnaround time for these lab tests, was taking longer than expected, and this vendor couldn't get it. We're like, listen, what if this was your mom? And from firsthand experience, my mother recovered from HER2 positive breast cancer, and it was the biggest challenge ever. And I remember when we were just sitting and waiting for the results. So we always want to think that, yes, it's a clinical research setting, but what if it's your brother or your mother? So your patients can really gain from this. Financially also, they can actually gain from that. So B, let's move on to the next slide. It helps physicians network with other medical professionals. Absolutely. Physician, African healthcare. It's such a very unique industry. And so you can collaborate across various projects. You could be in the industry and you're working, like I said, on a project that is across the whole globe. You could triage with other industry professionals. There are events. I mean, there's just a lot going on. And the good part is that because Africa is just such a hotbed right now, it's a great place for us because we are just starting. So you're building relationships, like I have over the years. And it's really a wonderful thing to do, right? Because we collaborate together. But I often say, just imagine if we had many of our African and healthcare professionals in clinical trials running maybe a lot of malaria studies on the continent. And then there's a network of all the clinical research professionals involved in malaria studies. And just imagine the wealth of knowledge and information that will come from that. So that's something wonderful. So let's go to the next slide, B. Yes, building relationships, and then your reputation and your credential. Make no mistake about it. Let me give an example. We have someone who had never been in clinical trials, like never, and he coached with me last year, and he recently just got his dream job with Pfizer. His testimonial is on, I think it's on Facebook, right, Vera? Right, I think that's where it is. And he basically built up his credential. He took courses, and now we did his LinkedIn and all of that stuff, which is what I do with my coaching. Really, I re-engineer who you are. So yeah, so just, and then being able to build that reputation even within the industry. You know, if I put down the list of trials that I've worked on, I've lost count of the number of trials. I really have. But you get to the point where you have so much knowledge as an individual in this industry. And what that means is that you can actually rise up easily. You can collaborate easily. There are projects that come on, and you can then consult, which is where I am right now, because you get to the point where that you have a lot of knowledge, and then it's just time to consult and decide how you want to run things. And I think it's really wonderful. And of course, career advancement. If you want a career in it, it goes so fast. And we will post Moses's testimonial, because he moved up after coaching with us like that. Like, he's just doing amazing things. So let's go to the next one, B. Okay, you can earn money. Yeah. I mean, I remember when we were preparing this, I said, we want to include the money, because you can earn money by running the clinical trials. You can earn money by teaching courses in clinical research, which is what I do right now as well, by writing articles about research. If you run a clinical trial as a physician, and at the end of the trial, you want to publish papers, you basically have to just adhere to the disclosure information, notify the clinical operations people and the clinical development people, we're all the same group. And then you basically just, you can write about it. You can write about your observations. Maybe you worked on a malaria trial, you could write about it. But also, as a professional coming into this industry, I mean, the entry pay is incredible. And if you do work with us, we know how you can ask for that. So entry pay is incredible. You move up quickly. Yeah, like I was telling Moses, I said, yes, you've done what you said you had to do. I'm proud of you, but guess what? This is just the beginning. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You do not breathe. You keep going, because why? Representation matters. When you are in a position as an African individual where you have visibility, you're doing amazing things, then there's so many who are going to look at you and say, oh my goodness, what are you doing? I want to do that. It's so important to empower each other. Okay, B, let's go on to the next one. Now, let me talk about our program. Before I do, how are you guys doing? Is everybody following? Hamza, Joshua, Camney, Kelvin, Maxine, Nathan, Ozzy, Sheila, Cynthia, Sydney, Twa, Fifwa, Benens. Great. I'm glad that you guys are following and you are here. So before going into this, I want to tell you guys a little bit about you know how passionate I am. But creating this company, we've been around for a little bit, it's been growing, and it took a lot, because, I had to work on certain things, because you have to work on the blocks. Many times when I'm having conversations with our wonderful African healthcare professionals, I hear a lot of times it's blocks, even people who are in the industry, or I hear that you can't do this in Nigeria, or you can't do this in Tanzania, all these things. The thing that is most important here is this: the way that our programs are structured, you're learning about clinical trials, but also breaking those barriers. So it's a blend. So everyone who comes and says, oh my God, Tengu, coaching with you was amazing, simply because I believe that every single interaction, we have to get rid of those blocks. And at the end, I'm going to do a little coaching piece on that. So important, because yes, we have all these wonderful programs. We train you, we set up clinical research sites. We work with physicians to set that up. If you want to come into the industry, we train you on how you do that, how you present yourself, what you're looking for, how you're networking, and all of that good stuff, right? And if you're in the industry, what is the next move for you? I mean, yes, fantastic. I'm happy for you, don't get me wrong, but what next? How can you be of more service in this industry? So B, let's go on to the next one. So I'll go into our program. So we do the site setup piece, which, like I said, you're a physician, You want to set up for a clinical trial. How do you do that? How do you transform your amazing practice into a clinical research hub? And we split it up. It's really, we have a whole formula that I created, which is people, databases, documents. There's a whole, it's a good structure. It's one-on-one coaching with me and your staff. And we actually give you the tools that you need to set up one-on-one coaching with me. Yeah, there are many who come through for whatever you need. I mean, do you need to, but I mean, really, it's about where you are and where you want to be. I coach, so I want you guys to understand this. I coach in so many different ways because everybody has like something different, but it's all within clinical operations. That's really what it is. It's all within this industry, whether it's moving up, whether you're a physician and the physicians who just took on a role, or as a sub-investigator, maybe they're coordinating different facilities and they want to structure their reporting guidelines and they need to report all this stuff weekly. So I provide a framework through which they can do that. So it's just a lot of different moving pieces, but it's giving you the information that you need. And of course, we have group coaching. And by group coaching, I mean either in a group or as a clinical research site, with a whole group of people. So let's go on to the next one. Now, what I want to talk about is our current course that is starting on November 10th. It is the giveaway it's a 5-week, 5-session course. We're going to have 1 week in January. This course is our 2590 course that I took it down to $500, and then I took it down even further. If you put this discount code, you're going to get it for $250. There is nothing that happens like this, with what I do. It's a foundational course. You're going to learn about clinical trial success strategies in the industry terms. It's a good framework. I always say, just take this course before you start actually, if you need to do anything else. And I also coach, the first part it's all about, we talk about clinical trials, but the second part is answering your questions, guiding you on what to do and what the next steps are. So if you are interested, this is going to go up to 500 on Wednesday at midnight. Go sign up for it, you guys. I'm telling you, why sit on the fence? Okay, I always say, come in, start doing what you have to do to get into this industry. And like I said, it's 80% or 90% off of what we normally charge for our basic course. So do that. Okay. We are going to Vera, can you post the link again and that code, or B, so that they can have it? No, Vera will do that because B is driving. So let's go to the next slide. And then, of course, these are our ranges for our price. If you're interested in group coaching, it runs anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. We have installments based on the number of months that you're going to participate. We have personal coaching packages that run from $3,000 to $10,000, again, based on installments. And it's actually a tailored packaging based on where you are, what you want, and what you can afford. It's really, really important. So if you're interested in, Tengo, I just want to coach with you, see us at Achaibo Clinical, or you can book a call with us, and we're going to be posting it on the WhatsApp group. But here's the thing, move on to the next slide, B. So let me go into this piece and we'll continue. Every single coaching program, anything that I do has to do with clinical trials and success mindset. And I'll tell you guys this because in my own life, this is what took me to another level. I came into the industry, I had a lot of energy. I just wanted to go to the global level, but then I had to now say, okay, I have to have mentors. I have to have coaches. I have to have people who help me because I'm not going to do this on my own. I'm not going to go do something that somebody has already done. And see, it's taken me 19 years. If I had more mentors and coaches, it probably would have taken way, 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 way less than that. But the knowledge I've amassed in these 19 years, I'm forever grateful for it. And so we need to have technical knowledge and the success mindset. There's just no other way because, there's so many things that we've been conditioned to become, right? I say culture is wonderful and I love culture, but there's some parts of culture that cause us not to move forward because little things like I remember I was told that you have a poli-sci background. The people who become very successful in this industry are the nurses and and then I had people that I was working with. I even had a friend who was a former ballerina. And I said, wow, how come if she can do it, why can't I do it? And then I started getting the right mentors and coaches. So super important. We are here, in my opinion, our life is like, we have our life, I call it the life bubble or whatever it is, right? And it's a garden for excellence and for us to nourish our being. But how do we do that? Right. All the videos that I put out, which I'll talk about, we talk about meditation, we talk about journaling, we talk about visualization and all of that stuff. But it's because within me, there is so much potential in you as a human being on this planet. But like I said, for whatever reason, we've been conditioned in certain ways. And the people who were here before us, we love them, right? I mean, my parents, this is where I came from. This is the society that I lived in. But because I am now aware that there is more within me that I can use to be of greater service to the world, then I have to make sure that I'm going through life with a filter of possibility. It's like, when, I don't know if you guys have done eye exams, they have this big contraption and then they're like changing the lens grade. They would go, which looks better, 1 or 2? You say 1. And then they have the Snellen chart in front and you're reading through it. They're like, which looks better, 2 or 1? My mom goes through that a lot. So it's just right. But here's the point I'm making. Which looks better? 1, right? I see my life. I am aware of it. I know exactly what is going on. I know the steps that I have to take to transform it. That's 1. 2 is it's blurry, right? I mean, because why? I'm living in a situation where I have all these filters of it's not possible for me. Things are not going to work out. How am I even going to do this? So I have to be in a place like, whether it's a webinar like this or it's taking coaching and getting technical knowledge, but also getting something that's going to cause me to move forward in life. It's so important, you guys. No matter where I am in the world, this is the thing that I'm learning, and I'm learning every day. And I always say these are ideas that I share. If you hear something, you're like, Tengu, I don't know about that. That's fine. If something lands, it lands, right? I mean, I'm not assuming anything here. I'm good at clinical operations. I love it so much. But the other thing that I love for me is success mindset. Very important. My thinking, there is nothing in the world except thinkonomics, the way that I think and the way that I see my world. So which filter am I seeing? But then how do I do that? I have to live consciously, right? To get up in the morning and set an intention for my day. No matter what happens today, I intend to overcome it. No matter what happens today, I'm going to do my best to see my world in a better place. So those are the things that I really stress on, which are really important. And it's part of the coaching program. There's always like 10 minutes of that or a little bit more. It's always part of the homework. So that's important. And I'll end here by saying, life does not give you what you need, but what you deserve. What are you deserving of, really? And it's not an egotistical thing. I'm deserving of the best. No, it is because I choose to be aware of where I am, because I choose to tap into the infinite wealth of possibility within me. I believe that there is a source, God, whatever you want to call it. It's an energy that is moving. It is within us. But if I don't think that I'm deserving for whatever reason, maybe some negative person whispered something in my ear and then it just stuck, right? But what am I truly deserving? I am truly deserving of the confidence that no matter what is happening, with the support of my internal energy or spirit or whatever, and the people that around me, like this type of webinar, right? High energy, you live, you feel very positive about your life, that you too can do something in this world and you can overcome certain things. So that's what I'm deserving of. And lastly, and I'm going to do a talk on this because so we have the Sunday chat, which is about success mindset. It's on our Facebook group. If you're not there, please go on there. And also it's on our YouTube playlist. That's the Sunday chat. It's about things like this. Wednesday, we talk about clinical trials. And the series I'm doing right now, you guys, is gold. I'm talking about the regulatory authority issues that have been noted around the world. And I'm giving strategies on how you can overcome that. And if you are watching all those Wednesday chats, I promise you know more about clinical trials, if anything, and this is for free. So I have my sister who's visiting right now from London, and we're sitting in the car and she said something because my mother was sick. Like I said, and I had to take care of her. So it was not an easy time, not whatsoever. And so, but while that was happening, she said, something, everything that happened is because you're in clinical research. And it's so true. I remember every diagnosis she had, every single thing, when her doctor would speak, I would just say, oh my God, God, I cannot even believe this. I know this stuff, right? Like everything that I learned for years and years and years came together in my mom's care, in all the things that she went through. And I was so grateful about it. And so the thing that I say is everything that happens in your life is building you up for a moment. That is, it's like you know in the movie Marvel Infinity Endgame, there is this part where there's a glove that this hawk, this green monster has to wear. And basically, I'm not going to go into the details, but he says, I have been preparing my whole life for this moment. And I always get emotional when I hear that, because even what I'm doing now with Achaibo Clinical, I feel like I've been prepared my whole life in clinical trials for being able to, coach people of African descent, coach my own people, make sure that, I'm just one person, that more and more people get this knowledge so that they can spread it and people's lives can actually transform. So the question is this: what is your moment? All the skill sets that you've adopted, all the challenges, everything. There is that moment when you realize that, oh my goodness, I really feel like I've been building up to this moment, right? I've been building up to it. I feel like I'm in a place in my life, and that's where we are right now in Africa and the diaspora. This industry has built up to a moment that is now allowing for people like me, people like you, to come into this industry and excel and do amazing things. So the industry itself, right, has been building up to this global moment. But where are we? What do we deserve? I mean, what do we deserve? That's the question, right? And what steps are we actually going to take to make sure that we too can benefit from all of this? So that said, I will leave it there. Again, we're going to go into questions now. We have the WhatsApp group. You guys join the WhatsApp group. Join the WhatsApp. Join the WhatsApp group because it's important. Because, yeah, we have the WhatsApp group. This recording will be available on YouTube. We have a Facebook group. This is where we post all our videos. And then in addition, we have the playlist. So if you miss it, you're like, I'm just going to go on YouTube and scroll down. WhatsApp community. That's where it starts. I have to do a song. Then, of course, the next webinar is in January. I haven't decided a date yet because it's going to be after we're done with this program. Make sure that you sign up, you guys. Don't wait for January 1st to start the year. Oh, wow, on the 1st of January, I'm going to write all my goals. Don't. 1st of January also is really in the Christian world because Chinese New Year is different. Indian New Year just happens. So, I mean, it's all just an illusion, right? You want to maximize the moment of where you are and don't wait for a holiday or some event. Maximize the moment. Your potential is always there. It's not dependent on some holiday. So important, you guys. So that's how to reach us. And now, guys, I'm going to go into the questions and answers, and no question off the table. Don't say I've been listening to these things, Tengo. I don't have any question. Please ask me anything and I will be so happy. I see there's some things in the chat. Let me start with those. Hi, Ozzy. Okay, I think Chess asked the question, how can Africans in the diaspora be involved in clinical trials meaningful for dark-skinned people? Yes. There's so many ways. I'm not sure what your profession is, Chess. You can work in the industry, you can work in a clinical research site, you can apply for a job with a pharma company. If you're a physician, you can run clinical trials. And then especially because what they found is that, let me just say something here. The FDA now has the Clinical Trials Diversity Initiative. You have to do a clinical trials diversity plan, you guys. I mean, this started in April of this year, because if you go read it, and I think I did a talk on that. If you go read it, it says we need to include more people of certain races in clinical trials. I mean, we've always done that. Like we would, when I work on a project, we always have to look at the demographics and everything. And that's why trials are going global. It costs less and you get pretty much everybody. But Africa has the largest phenotype and genotype. And that's why everybody wants to come in. But we need this operational structure, which I keep preaching here, to do that. So yes, Chess, I would suggest, I don't know what your profession is. There's so many ways that you can participate. You can even have your own initiative. You can go triage with different doctors depending on the country that you're in. And I could teach you how to help them to run trials. That's the other thing. So you can get this knowledge and then go and say, okay, guess what? I want to work with all the doctors here or who are minority doctors, and I'm going to train them, because the training that you get, you remember that when you get training, you can take it and train other people. You guys, let's not forget about that. Kindly share the search terms or links for source of clinical trials data, Tengu. Yes, it's ct.gov. It's a great place, clinicaltrials.gov. B, you know where that is, right? ct.gov. Just share the link to it. And it's or Vera, clinicaltrials.gov. I live in it. I mean, really. And I live in the CTID one. That's the EMR registry. So that's where all the data is, but the US has the best for sure. Okay. Yes, Maxine, I absolutely agree. Oh my goodness, what? The point you made, we have that not just in Africa, Maxine, in South America. But here's the thing, pharmaceutical companies are becoming more sensitive to that, as you know. So low-income people, it's a great incentive to participate in clinical trials. And so, yes, for some of them, that's the only reason. So it's education. We had an initiative that I launched with a company that I work for. I only help them to do recruitment. So guys, I've done so many things, but it was just global recruitment. How can we engage the populations in poor areas? Thank you for posting clinicaltrials.gov. How do we engage them? That community access, we created flyers in different languages. It's education, because also people are scared. Imagine if I'm thinking of my little village in Cameroon that I grew up in, and a truck stops by and says, hey, guess what? We want you to participate in some clinical trial or testing a drug. People are going to believe it. But here's the interesting part about that. This has been done by many European countries in Africa. Yes, they have. They have come in and packed shop. Oh, my name. Thank you for letting me know, guys. When I'm actually speaking, I have a tendency to just. So this is me. You guys can see me well now. Thank you, Chess. This is me. So yeah, for me, guys, I'm all about the knowledge that I disseminate. So sometimes, I don't pay attention to, I want to give knowledge, and I really want people to be empowered and feel what they want. So yes, Maxine, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I really think so. Jake, it's you, right? Is that Jake? Because sometimes, my mind is everywhere. I don't know, is it Jake? That's a really good point that you made. It's such a dilemma, but we have to educate. Some countries now going to Africa are actually educating. You have to educate the community, right? And that is not going to be on the pharmaceutical company. I mean, we've done it, but absolutely not. It's the people who are running the trials. You have to think of a radius of your clinical trial, maybe within 100 miles, and radio stations, education. I actually launched an initiative like that, like I said, super important. Chess. Oh, yes, chess. Any aspect of clinical trials will fit a laboratory and scientists. And basically, you can come into the industry and work in clinical development. You can work as a clinical research associate. I mean, really, because you're a lab scientist, you can work for a vendor who is, yes. What do I need to use my platform in facilitating sample collections for clinical trials? Can you expand on that? What do I need to use in my platform? You just need to market yourself. I don't know what your platform is, but I think it's a matter of marketing yourself. So Chess, come on and yeah, and let's answer. Let's have a little powwow here so I can better understand what your question is. Oh, let me go to our Hafifwa. Let me go to Chess. Do you want to ask your question online? And then I'm going to go to the next person, because that's a very important. Okay, so it's a matter of marketing, Chess. And that's something that I also help with. So we have to understand what your company is about. And then what you're now going to do is, there is no such thing. There might be a few on the African continent. The Gaza is just an open playing field right now. The only reason why I think we haven't done well is just because it's how we market ourselves. And that's really important. I see it every time. We get all these people like, no African sites. Of course not, because the South American sites are aggressive. The companies are aggressive. They're selling information. They're doing research to get into the industry, right? So I think it's just a matter of how you're going to market yourself. And then also I'll show you what companies you're going to contact, how you present yourself. We want to niche it, okay? We want to niche it. We want to niche it down. And what that means is that we have companies that we target. If there are trials that are being run on malaria, these are the companies that we target. What are the systems you have in place, the type of blood that is being collected, because this is a highly regulated industry, guys. We're dealing with patients here. So you really have to understand, of course, GMP, if you have all of that, all those guidelines in this industry, you have to understand that. And that's where I can really help you guys, it's all marketing. It really is all marketing at the end of the day. It's all just marketing, you guys. I mean, really, even in clinical trials, we're marketing. We're constantly, to launch a trial, we have to market it to the world. So it's all marketing. So, Twaha Fifwa, here's the thing. So Chess, please, book a call with me. Let me see how I can work with you on one-on-one, and I want to understand your company, what it is, and how I can help you now to transform it. Because I'm telling you, there's nothing like this in Africa. If we can successfully get you in this industry, doing what you're doing, you're going to be, because this is a big need. There are patients in rural areas who cannot participate in clinical trials, and blood collection is so important. So long as you have the right manufacturing, everything in place. In fact, Jake, who is with us, might be somebody that you also I also have you connect with him at a later date because of what his company does. So these are it's a matter of, we have to understand what exactly your needs are. And then if you can work with me, that would be great. So let me go to Twaha. I love your name so much, Twaha Fifwa. It's just like, it's a tongue twister, but I love it. I could say it every day. Here's the thing. I've come across this several times. You don't need funds. I just have to tell you this. What you need to do is you have to have a facility and then market that facility. Pharmaceutical companies are not going to be, and we don't fund sites. I mean, it's just maybe university companies do. The funding comes from running the clinical trial. So for example, as your site is marketed and you understand, you're very clear about what you're doing and the population that you're serving, this is what will happen. And then you get a clinical trial. The clinical trial is going to fund it. You don't need the clinical, you're not supposed to be getting funding to do, you're supposed to get a clinical trial and then get but you have to know how to negotiate. Guys, I do budgets and contracts with countries across the world. So that's another thing. Sometimes, they propose low-hanging fruit to us, right? Like low-hanging fruit to us, they go, oh, we're running this trial, this is what we're going to pay you. No, we want to make sure that they have a robust understanding of what exactly we have to offer, but you want to niche it. You have to have the certain companies that you target within a specific therapeutic area. That's your thing. You only focus on those companies and then you build from there. So that's important as well. You were interested in, yeah, perfect. There you are. Hey.
Hi, Tengu. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you? I think I went to your website. You're the one who's in Namibia, right?
Yes.
To your website now. I saw, I went and looked at your website. Yeah, really briefly.
Yes, thank you very much for this platform. Really, really appreciate it. It's 7 p.m. in Namibia right now on a Sunday, but really, really appreciate for the time.
Yeah.
So my question is, I totally understand the funding or the fund for the facility will come after we get a trial, but our challenge is getting to run the clinical trial, bringing that clinical trial to Namibia. So we have invested so much in setting up the facility, making sure we have everything that's required, getting training, getting our GCP, the stuff that's needed. But now the struggle and the challenge is to get that trial home, because it's also now the first for our country. It's a challenge.
It's not. You know why? If you say something is, I'm sorry, this is how I train. just before, Vera, can you give the code? Somebody wants to attend, is wanting to get the 250, they're registering. Can you give them the code? So before just answering this, just really quickly, when you go to pay, it's gonna say 500, but you will see, you have to enter the code AC giveaway, then it's gonna take it to 250. Okay, you guys, give him the code. It's AC 2022 giveaway, something like that, so that they can actually pay. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Here is the thing to our fifth one. Hear me? I work, oh my God, I'm so excited because you actually have a facility that has been set up. The biggest challenge is setting up the facility. That is the big, that's, you know, I mean, I build site network. We have a massive one going on in Arkansas right now that we're building. It is the training, it's setting up the facility. That's the issue. If you have a facility, what you need is the marketing. I went to your website. I'll be very honest with you. When it comes to clinical trials, we need to fine tune your website, because the way that we help companies is that we have to target specific companies, and there's certain information that we need in your website. We have to look at your patient database and everything. So it's not, you already have the infrastructure. So now the two ways that we want to do this is this. The first thing is not that we'll bring your site. We have to create a story for Namibia. What is the issues? What is going on? What is the vision, right? Because you can be the #1 principal investigator in the whole of Namibia, and everybody else is a coordinating investigator. But it's how you sell it, how you market it, what you're looking for. So that's where I come in. So it's interesting how, you know, I've worked with several countries. So I work a lot at the country level, but the strategies that are implemented are very interesting. It's not so much getting the trial, it's we have to understand the regulatory framework for Namibia. So you want to be a center that understands all of that, right? And that's what we market. And then so by the time that we have a discussion with I say, okay, great. I have a company for you, and guess what? This is the trial that they have. You already have you understand the regulatory framework in Namibia from the top to the bottom, and you can end up being someone who facilitates things for them. So there is no reason why you're not getting clinical trials. I just think you need to, like I said, work with me. If you want this to move, there's a way to do it, and it happens pretty quickly. So again, I am an operations person, and operations runs this world in clinical trials. That's we submit to the regulatory. Everything that has to do with running a clinical trial, that's what I do globally. And regarding strategy, recruitment, I mean, anything that's being rolled out, we do it at a global level. So there's nothing, and I know exactly how a clinical research facility, it can get access to that. Like but there's a pathway for it. There's certain things that have to be in place, right? There's a certain way that you have to contact. And then I also do a check of your whole facility, what is in place, and then we build a whole framework for you. And that's what we work on. Very, very important. There's no way that you have a facility in Namibia, which is highly needed, and you're not getting clinical trials. I mean, that's just, yeah. Anyways, that's it. And then, did I answer your question? I am so excited.
Yes,
so
I think I'm gonna go ahead and book that one-on-one session.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And
thank you.
If you have, and also this is what I also would suggest. Have some of your staff join the training next week. I'll tell you why. Yes, you've taken GCP training. Yes, they've taken all of that. But the way that I teach, it's a whole different level. As you can see on this webinar, remember that I'm at a global level, and I don't say it to toot my own horn. When to sit in a place where I can see everything that's happening across the world in a clinical trial, the information, so I already anticipate things. The way that this course is going to be is I'm going to teach perfect. Sorry, I got distracted. Somebody keeps asking questions. So I'm going to teach, like I'm also giving information to the staff, how you have to see. How are you seeing if an adverse event occur? What is the methodology of thinking? How are you managing supplies? But it's a different way of thinking. So if you have like maybe one staff member that is over everything, have them join this training and let them get this information that will cause them to really start, because you want to run a facility for success and you want superstars and people who are all excellent to be in it. And so you can pick one person who's like your person and say, hey, join this training, and let them come and just listen for the next 5 weeks. And it's going to be mind-boggling. And then also book a call with me. let me see how I can work with you to get us in 2023, start getting clinical trials. And let's start having your facility get it. And that way you guys can keep moving. And the first thing we're going to do is, if you work with me, I'm going to redo that website when it comes to clinical trials. I'll change it. So it's just me. All right. And yeah, so I will make sure that it contains, because you have a lot, but we have to parcel it and market it in a way that will take you to the next level. Yes, Africa is a hotbed. I mean, I'm just excited. So, okay, I'll see you.
Yes,
We'll chat.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Great question. It's going to help a lot of people. So, anonymous attendee. Sorry, that's my little inside joke. But yeah, a one-on-one session. Let's see what you booked. It's usually a 30 minutes session. I don't know. Are you, so you're attending the training is 5 weeks. 5 weeks for $250. I mean, I'm sorry. Even just saying it, I have a cramp in my stomach because I'm like, oh my God, I'm really giving this stuff away. So 5 weeks for $250. But if you want to book one-on-one training with me, then you and I have to discuss, because people most of the time start at the basic with me. And then while that's going on, they're like, Tengo, these are my needs. Then I now make a package specifically for you based on your needs, because I don't like to have just a blanketed cost. And then you can also book a one-on-one session with me. Absolutely. It's 15 minutes, but if you want it to be longer, and in the one-on-one session, that's just a strategy session. That's a free thing that I do to kind of gauge what people want. And like, Dr. Namboa is going to book that. So, but does that answer your question, anonymous attendee? Because that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, the training, yeah, 5 weeks of really good stuff. Oh, it's you, Chess. Sorry, having a good time here. Yes. The discovery call, book it, and I'm going to extend it. Book it, put like Chess V on there, and I'm going to extend it. We will extend it for you. Okay, Chess. But have you booked the training? Come to the training, Chess. I'm telling you, it's going to transform your life. Come to the training. Guys, if you're not, come to the training. Come to the training. We're going to be posting it every day until Wednesday so that you can come. Okay. So yes, I will extend it for you, Chess, to 30 minutes. Usually it's 15 minutes to the discovery call, but I'll extend it to 30 minutes immediately. As soon as you book it, let me know. You can ping me on WhatsApp. Are you on the WhatsApp group? Ping me on WhatsApp, and I'm going to extend it for another 15 minutes. That would be awesome. Okay, so a question from Obi. Oh, Ozzy, you're an emergency physician. Come to the training. Because what's going to happen is that when you come to the training, the first part, like I said, is going to be about all the terms. And then the second part, I'm going to be coaching you one-on-one. That's why I'm like, $250 to get free coaching for 5 weeks. I mean, you're going to get coaching from me, and I answer your question and I take you to the next step. And I know, trust me, I get this question all the time. Tengo, how do I start? I'm an emergency, like, how do I don't even, this is an amazing industry, but where do I begin? That's where I come in. Guys, just come to the training. Come to the training, and just, everybody who comes, we have their name. And during that training, I'm going to understand what your needs are. So you're going to get the knowledge. Everything is already said. You get the knowledge, you learn, but I'm also going to work with you. And that working with you normally is $3,000. Okay. So I'm going to work with you as well. Fantastic. So good. So Chess, 3:15 tomorrow, we'll talk. And then I'm also going to, that's even perfect. Chess is joining the training, you guys. Join him. Because I like people who take action. So yeah, Chess, then during the call, I'm going to walk you through registering and everything. I think that will be fantastic. Then I'm going to really guide you. And Ozzy, book a call with me as well. Book a call with me, or just register for the training, Ozzy. Just go register for it. I mean, $250, think about the things that you get for $250 USD that you don't even remember. You know, go just register, because when you're done with this 5-week giveaway, I promise you, you're going to have so much clarity about the next steps. It's just simple because, you know, you're going to have a lot of clarity. And it's, yeah, so please, does that help you, Ozzy? Just let me know. You can put a thumbs up or something. Okay, good. Fantastic. Yeah. Click join the training. The code is AC giveaway. You get it for $250. You click on the link. You put the code is on the left-hand side. And then if you want after that, you can even book a private call with me. I don't mind. Just come to the training and you're going to get such clarity after that. So important, you guys. Dive in. Stop sitting, you know, Humpty Dumpty sat on the fence. Get off the fence. Come in. Okay, you guys. Okay, Charles. Yes, not necessarily a private facility. It's based on the country you are in and the regulatory pathway. Okay, let me expand on this a little bit, you guys. Say, for example, I'm from Cameroon, and we do run clinical trials in Cameroon. We really do, you guys. I mean, I'm like, wow, we do. And it's a lot of Chinese companies, you know, that part. But here's the thing. They're run in hospitals. But you have to understand the framework within the hospital. In Canada and the US, in Japan, I mean, all these places actually have like clinical research departments. They have a local ethics committee that runs everything, right? But here's the thing. They're running hospitals, but then the private facilities also are participating. This is what's so wonderful. If you have a clinic that wants to participate in clinical trials, your job is to get the clinic ready. And then like what I'm going to do with them, Dr. Nambuka, then now we market it to them and really help them understand that and then now there are ethics committees now here in the US that can take charge of you, and in Europe. There are also ethics committees now in Africa that have popped up as well. You can triage with one in South Africa, but that's not your job. Your job is to get the clinical research facility ready and marketable. And then once we market it and everything, and you get a trial, I forgot to mention this to Dr. Nambuka, I always maintain oversight. So when I bring in a clinical trial, part of the package is that I maintain oversight. I help you while you're conducting the trial. So that way you can create a really good relationship with the pharmaceutical companies, and that is ongoing. You don't have to go to quality issues and all of that, which can be a nightmare, but we handhold you so that you're confident in what you're doing. Yes. You need a private facility, a hospital, a clinic, something. Or here's the other thing that I just had a conversation with someone about it last week in South Africa. He's going to start working with us in January. They are going to be working with other physicians to do that. Low-hanging fruit, simple. You go meet other physicians, you say, guess what? I've heard about this clinical trials industry. I think that you, as an infectious disease specialist, you should be running trials, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is what we're going to be doing. And then I coach you. Our big network that's coming up, that's going up in Arkansas right now, and I mention it because it's the largest that we've worked in, that's what we're doing. We met an entrepreneur. He's like, guess what? I want to run clinical trials. He went and partnered up with some physicians. We've trained him. And now we've created a framework through which he's helping the site. We just got done with all the training and everything. And that's another way to do it as well. Okay. And I see that someone raised their hand. Yes, indeed. B, can you unmute? Please tell me this is Jig, because I am just thinking to myself, unless I talk to so many people that now I'm beginning to lose track of names. Jig, you want to go off mute? There you are. Is it Jig? Hello? It's Jig. You're off mute. Did you want to say something? Oh, well, okay. I don't think we can hear you. Oh, it's Maxine Moyo. Oh, sorry, you guys. B says it's Maxine Moyo, but I thought it was Jig. I swear it's Maxine Moyo, it's somebody else. Do you want to speak or do you want to type something? I saw that your hand was up. You know, I try to leave this call with no stone unturned, you guys. I do my best here. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe your hand is just up. just because you like your hand up. I do too sometimes, you know. So again, you guys, this is the end of it. The WhatsApp group, so this is what we're gonna do on the WhatsApp group. Oh, you've unmuted. Yes, go ahead and speak, please. Hello, we can hear you. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Charles, to have a private facility. While our friend here is figuring this out. So Charles, this is what I said, okay? And you just, you ring a bell. I work with so many people, and sometimes people come through to meet with me on calls, and anyways, then I confuse people's names because I'm sorry, this is horrible, but it's not that I don't remember, you know, like, I mean, one of my coaching students, like I said, called me this week to say thank you, and I'm like, Moses? Then I'm like, oh my God, Moses. Anyways, he looked different too. He looked bright, he was happy, his life is doing well. But Charles, so this is what I said. There are 3 ways. Number 1, private facility. You set it up, you do all the work, training, staff, all of it. And then marketable to the pharmaceutical company while understanding what regulatory pathway you're going to use. If you're in a country where it's easy, you get a clinical trial. The government is hopefully not a dictatorship that is going to bug you, right? There was a great framework, maybe through the Ministry of Health, you get a clinical trial like every other facility in the world. You're not supposed to be getting. The pharmaceutical company takes care of all the regulatory information regarding to your country. And then your job is to run the clinical trial and all of that good stuff. That's one with private. Hospital, you work with a hospital. The hospitalist or the head of operations or whatever, you create a department for clinical trials, you know, you work with them, you can say, oh, we're gonna have infectious disease, cardiovascular, all these different physicians, and then we're gonna set up our hospital where we can run clinical trials. That's another way. The other way, which I call it low-hanging fruit, is you just go speak to a bunch of your colleagues or other medical doctors, and yeah, you go speak with a colleague and other medical doctors, Charles, and you say, guess what? I have the capacity to run clinical trials right now. And hopefully Achaibo Clinical is helping us out. That's what I'm doing in Arkansas right now. We had an entrepreneur who wanted to run trials, never been in the industry, and I actually showed him out. Yeah, fantastic. So you work with a government hospital lab, which is actually the best place because lab samples are huge. A lot of the clinical trials right now in Africa have to do with lab samples, but you have to understand the setting. So very simple, Charles, you can triage with the people where you are. And I show you how to do that, how to speak with them, what to tell them. I do a presentation. And then that way you can now create a hub where you can get lab samples from patients and all that stuff while getting paid for it. Right. And then you now benefit. It's your trial. The financial benefit is yours because you're the one who's actually running it. But hopefully, if it's a government hospital where there is no pala, you know what I'm talking about. There's no pala in the hospital. That's a word that I grew up with, you know, no little, everybody wants their little money here. You want a hospital where you can train people. It's clear. And I help do that. And we set up something where now you can get sample collections and all kinds of stuff. I think a hospital laboratory is the best because you have access to so many patients. So it's a massive database. Does that answer your question, Charles? Okay. No problem. So, yeah, you can absolutely ask away on fantastic Ozzy, booked on Wednesday. Good. Because Wednesday the coupon expires. Guys, I'm going to open up some more dates because I think my schedule just picked up. Absolutely. Please ask the question on WhatsApp. I will answer. Yes, Charles, you are sitting on a hotbed for clinical trials, Charles. The thing that drives clinical trials is a place where there is a conglomeration or there is a how can I call it? Like a confluence of clinical trial patients. Fantastic. Send me an email and also then you and I can even talk further. When you have an area like a hospital laboratory where you have massive amounts of patients who come there, that's a hotbed for running a clinical trial or even collecting samples. But you just need to have the right framework in place. And a lot of universities here do a lot of, they connect with those facilities like yours, and they get samples. So very, very important. You're in a very good place. And just, you want to make maximum use of it. So Ozzy just booked for Wednesday. Guys, again, the program, we're $2,590. That's our normal rate for that program, going at $500. Okay, but it's $250 with the coupon, and you got to be on our WhatsApp group. So guys, take advantage. Come learn, come grow. And those of you who missed the beginning, I see you've swelled up again. More people have joined. You're going to get this recording. Listen to it today, because like I said, the program starts on Sunday, but the cheapest price ends on Wednesday. But you know, it's on Wednesday, but I know if some of you contact me on Thursday and say, Tengu, please now, come on now. I think we'll be able to do something. But I'm just saying that take advantage of it before Wednesday, or book a call with me. My schedule is insane, but I'm going to open up some more slots so I can help you guys. Take advantage of it. This is a hot industry, you guys. It's hot, and we are right at the beginning of the massive growth in Africa. You want to ride the wave from the beginning. And so let's do that. So that said, I'm going to go on WhatsApp and see who's posted any questions. I know some of you had challenges. Announcements. Upcoming, you'll be able to speak with me on WhatsApp. Right, team? Right, Vera? Right, Bia? Right, Julian? We're working on that. We just discovered that WhatsApp is a good place because, you know, it's not big here in the US and in some place in the world, but we are creating a WhatsApp strategy right now that we're going to be rolling out on the fantastic Chess. Also join the WhatsApp group if you're not on there already. Yes, Facebook Chess, you have a lot of videos. When you go on Facebook, if you click, it will take you to the link that is on YouTube. It will take you to YouTube, and there's a whole list on there. Wednesdays, all the clinical trials information that you ever will need is on there, and it's free, guys. Free. I mean, it's free. Fantastic. Good Chess. That's good. So we're rolling out the WhatsApp initiative next year. I am excited because I've always been on WhatsApp. I didn't know that, you know, WhatsApp was a place to be, you know. So, and we're going to be really supporting you, whether you're coaching with me or not. You're going to get information. You're going to get inspiration. You're going to talk about clinical trials. You're going to get so much on that group so that you really start getting like, wait a minute, I'm learning some things here. Videos are going to go on Facebook and on YouTube, but there's a lot that we're going to be rolling out for you so we can support you because the group is exploding. I didn't think that in a week we'll be at 117. I thought maybe 2 people would join them because I get so busy. But the way that it exploded, I said, okay, this is a way that I can really be of greater service, because my intention is that I have social media and all these platforms to reach more people and to be of greater service. And that, you know, someone can just hear one thing we said, like I've forgotten what his name was, said, oh my God, I moved to another country. Then you spoke to me once and I moved to another country. So, and I said, but it's you're the one who has that within you. So important, you guys. I'm so excited. This is going to be good. Thank you guys for joining. If you did not come from the beginning, this is a recording. The people who join get the recording and you get a certificate. So my team has gathered everyone who joined, and you're going to get a lovely certificate for free. You're not paying for it. There's no payment here. So just chill out. We are going to send it to your email address, the one that you used to register for this call. So check the spam. That's where it's going to go, right? That's where it's going to go. And then you guys will get that. And that way you can say you attended this call, those valuable information, and you can start piling your certificates, you know, hopefully on that way you can start building those clinical research credentials. Any more questions, you guys? Yes, Chess, see you on Monday. What a pleasure. I look forward to speaking with you. I see there are no more questions. Again, what did I talk about? Go out there and go into your internal world, right? The question is, what do you deserve? What do you deserve in your life? Be adamant about it in a way that you move through life filtering You join groups like this that are positive, that cause you to move forward with your life so you can move through life with a filter of possibility versus the muck and the rock that's running out here, you guys. I mean, don't let the world keep pushing you around. And again, I always say this, no matter where you are in the world, you can transform your life. I did it, and I keep doing it. And you can transform your life. But clinical trials is such a vehicle of excellence and abundance that I cannot help but keep preaching it from the rooftops of all the world. Like, people of African descent, my African brothers and sisters, please come to this industry and help pick more patients and transform your life and really be someone who's a force to reckon. It's this industry, no discrimination, anybody. Sometimes I'm on a call and I'm like, what did that person say again? I can't even understand them, but guess what? They're there and they're doing what they're supposed to do. So that said, thank you guys. I know we went over and it's been a long one today, but I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad that you listen. And I will see you in January, or join the program. It starts on Sunday next week. And we are going to be doing 5 weeks of intensive, high energy training about clinical trial success mindset. Okay. Or if not, book a call with me. And like I said, I'm going to open up some more slots. Okay. Thank you guys for joining, and please just wave if you've enjoyed the chat and you're looking forward to the next one. Yay. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for staying on to the end. I really appreciate it. It has been a pleasure. Ademola, thank you. Augustine Charles, Elizabeth, you guys, Elizabeth is one of our coaching students. She's amazing. Gertrude, Canmi, Maxine, I'm waiting for your question on WhatsApp. Ozzy, Rhonda, Cynthia, Sydney, Dr. Nambua, and Venance. I'm so glad you guys hung on to the end, and I wish you a fantastic week, okay? And hopefully lots of you are going to join us on Sunday for our clinical research extravaganza, okay? And of course, I thank my team, Bea, Vera, Julian. I thank you guys for all you do. And yeah, so I'm seeing them shortly for the first time in Manila, so I'm excited. You guys will get videos on the WhatsApp group. You're not in a WhatsApp group, you won't see how things went in Manila. So thank you guys. Sea Hearts, thank you, thank you. Without them, you guys, this company will not exist. They are amazing, and they are just incredible human beings. And I'm so humbled that they're working with Achaibo Clinical and supporting it. Look at all the hearts you guys are getting. That's so nice of you. Okay, bye. And again, I will see you guys on next week on Sunday in the training. Okay, unless it will be in January sometime. Okay, bye.